Coming to the third part, which is behavior management, and which is the utmost important thing as a teacher. So what is important in behavior management? Right in the first 5 minutes of the class, if you are a keen observer and you're observing the student, you will know which student is kind of hyper or not listening to you. You might not get an idea of a quiet student, maybe you can get it later on. You will get an idea of special children, you will get an idea of a student who are highly active and talkative. If you're very keen observer, you know this in almost first 5 minutes of the class. Yeah? So as a teacher, you should keep a habit that as you enter a class, you start scanning and figuring out who needs your attention. Yeah? So what you do is, the first thing is, as you identify the student, you put them in the first line, or you hold their hand, look eye to eye and say, listen, you're going to be on this spot, this is your line and you're going to stay there. So very clear and firm instruction given personally to that child. So that is one thing you can do, and it really works, yeah, when it's a personalized instruction. It works very well. Secondly, you can make them leader. So you say, okay, you're going to come and stand next to me and you're going to be a teacher with me today, and whatever, start dancing. So you can place them beside you. That's the second thing you can do. Lot of time with these students, most of the time teachers are shouting and screaming and saying, don't do this, don't that, you come here, don't run. We are saying all don'ts. Rather, I would say build a rapport. So when you see a student which is hyper and very, very talkative, you have to build a rapport. So how do you build a rapport? Is you talk to the child, you go closer, you pat, you say no running, okay? Please stay there. That's all you say. You don't scream and shout at the child at all. Yeah, so you go to the child and say, give me high five, jump, jump, give me high five. So you build a connection. When the child builds some connection with you, the chances the child will listen to you and want to please your teacher. Because when a child likes a teacher, the child wants to please a teacher. They will do anything. Yeah, so build a rapport with such students. What another way is assigning responsibility. So how do you assign responsibility? It's like check whether everybody is on the line. Just check everybody is on the line. So what you do is the child checks everybody is on the line and the child also comes back to line. Checking on herself or himself. Yeah? Another thing you can do with this child is to be very firm and consistent. When I say firm, is you look eye to eye and say what you want with a touch. Yeah? When I say consistent is, most of the time we tell the child once and we forget about it. No, it doesn't work like that at all. Yeah? Today, we as adults or we as person, when we want to change any of a simple habit, like getting up early, yeah, or say, okay, I want to lose some weight, yeah, today I'm going to start the diet, yeah. How much time does it take to change our own habits? It takes time, right? So say, oh, I told you yesterday, again while you're running, please, you have just told him yesterday. You have to tell him for 6 months to change his habit. Yeah? So you cannot expect that you told him once he's going to remember. So being consistent, what I mean is, you keep going back to the child. So now you know what I mean by being consistent is constantly telling the child without shouting, screaming, just by going to the child and reminding the child. It's not shouting at the child, it's just reminding the child. I'm adding one more point to being firm, consistent. The third point which I'm adding is counseling. So children who are just not able to control their behavior, they need to be counseled. So what is counseling? Very simple. You just have to talk to them before the class. Listen, you have to promise me that you will be on the class. You will be on your place. Yeah, you will promise me you will not run around. And when you see the child listening to you, say a child who is very hyper and at least tries to be on the place for half a song. It's a big achievement, yeah. You need to acknowledge this and compliment the child as soon as the song gets over. Oh, that was wonderful. You know, for half the song you were on the place. That's nice. So now in next song, the full song you'll be on the place, okay? Is it a promise? So what you do is, you counsel the child by constantly talking. Praising a child, even if you don't see a huge improvement, or you don't see a child to be like behaving very good, but praising a child even when you see little efforts, like staying on the place for 15 seconds. Yeah, even that's an effort for that child. So even when you see the small effort and you praise those effort, the child will want to behave more like that. Yeah, and slowly you will see this child's behavior changing. Never avoid complimenting children generally. Oh, the class is so good. It means nothing to any children. Always a compliment which is more personalized and something which child feels that I did it and that's why teacher is telling me. Yeah. So be genuine in complimenting. Just don't compliment for the sake of it. Something very simple but very important. Most of the time, as a teacher, if you can engage a child in thinking something, challenge a child in doing something, you will have your behavior management issues reduced to less than half. Yeah. So your lesson plan been interesting, your delivery is engaging, will take care of almost 90% of the behavioral problem. So make sure you take a very engaging class. Let's quickly summarize the behavior management. What helps? Building rapport, giving responsibility, being consistent, firm, counseling, being polite and not labeling how much ever the child is misbehaving. Not screaming and shouting is not the solution. Yeah. So all these things when you constantly do, you will have a class which is listening to you and dancing all the time.